Hey guys, before we get to the video, for more tips and tricks in the heating and air industry, please click that subscribe button. Thank you. Hey guys, Joshua Griffin here in the new HVAC guide, and wanted to do this video piggybacking off of a few videos I've done recently, and I have really stepped on a lot of toes. I'm getting some haters. I've had some people get pretty upset with me for telling you guys what some of the tricks of the trade, some secrets, and some things you should be watching out for. I even had one guy just literally just get so mad. He was blowing me up, trolling me, and he was just so mad that I admitted in one of my videos that some companies change their pricing based on how busy they are. Obviously, folks are allowed to charge whatever they want to charge, but I'm also allowed to tell you as a viewer of my YouTube channel that that's the case. So I don't think it's really, honestly, that big of a secret. I think it's pretty well known that the car industry changes their prices based on certain factors, how many sales they're trying to reach and what part of the month. I've even heard there's certain parts of the month that are better than others. But when it comes to the heating and air industry, for some reason, people get so upset if you share some of these secrets. This joker was telling me how horrible I am and how my business was going to go out of business soon and all this stuff. So anyway, to piggyback off of all that, I figured I'd step on a few more toes. And I wanted to do a video because I have actually sat through some sales classes where they teach you how to sell more heating and air equipment in your business or for the company you work for. And some of these tactics are a little interesting. Some of them are not that big a deal, but some of them, in my opinion, are a little much. They're a little, I don't want to say deceitful, but a little bit to where if you see it going on, I want you to at least be aware of it. So I'm going to dig into this. I'm going to go through a few of these sales tactics that I've seen other companies use, sales tactics that they've talked about in some of these classes that I've taken, and I hope it helps you out. The first one is I actually sat through a marketing class years ago where they basically talked about the longer you can stay in someone's home, the more likely you are to get their business. And so there are companies that their salesmen will come in your home and they are going to do their best to stay in your home as long as they can. And maybe there's some validity to that. If they're in your home for a while, you're able to talk to them, get to know them better, and, you know, give you the warm fuzzies as their customer and show that they're actually legit and so on. I'm not saying that that's necessarily a bad thing, but I think it's interesting for you to know that their goal is to stay in your home for as long as possible. I'm reminded a few years ago, I actually went to a house where the customer had called multiple companies and they didn't intentionally book all the companies at the same time, but it just so happened that I guess this other company was running a little late. I was running a little early as usual, and I just happened to get there while they were there. Usually if that happens, as a professional courtesy, I'll wait. I don't want to go in while they're there. I don't want to do our little tap dance 10-second commercial on why they should choose us while they're trying to do theirs. And I think as a professional courtesy that at times I'll just wait and maybe even go down to a local store and grab a drink or something and come back. That said, after waiting for quite some time, I realized that this company had been in there for a long time. So I even called the customer and said, hey, I'm sitting outside. You know, do you want me to just come in? Do you want me to leave? What do you want me to do here? And she said, hey, this guy is sitting in my house. He's actually sitting in the living room on his laptop. Go ahead and come on in. So I did. And I came in and looked at everything. I think that my sales tactic, if you will, my flashy song and dance when I go in someone's home is to do my best to not be as flashy or a song and dance. I think some people, it rubs them the wrong way. It actually rubs me the wrong way when I pick up on that, you know how some folks are just sort of like a dirty salesman type feel. And I'm not just talking about in heating and air. I'm just talking about in general. Like you just be around certain people. I know that the used car industry gets picked on all the time about that, but maybe for good reason. There are certain folks that have given that industry a bad name, right? You know, it doesn't mean everyone's bad that does that. But anyway, the point is I try to just, you know, do my job and show them why, you know, we want to earn their business and why they should choose us and so on. But I'm not flashy about it. Anyway, the point is, I was there the whole time I was there. This guy was there on his laptop, and taking up tons of amount of time. And when I say tons of time, I waited outside over a half hour. I was actually in and out of their home in about 10 or 15 minutes once I looked at everything and just kind of talked to the customer. And by the time I left, he was still there. So the point is, good or bad, just want you to know one tactic. Some folks are going to try to stay in your home as long as possible. The next thing that it seems like every sales class or anything I ever see about selling is companies are taught, or salesmen are taught, to close the sale, right? So, you know, they're going to ask for the sale. They're going to use different tactics to try to get you to sign the dotted line, right? And so they're trying to close the sale, get your business. At times they can be aggressive with that. Other times, maybe not so much. I've even sat through classes where they talked about if you were to sell the customer a system while you're sitting in front of them in the home, they're more likely to buy this much more business, or you're going to get this much more business during the year, a percentage or whatever. And I can tell you at Griffin Air, and any of my customers can vouch for this, we're not set up that way. We look at systems and we email the customer and let them make an educated decision. I welcome folks to get other quotes. That way they know when they, you know, meet someone else that they see that we're legit, and that, you know, they've now had a front row seat to at least 2+ companies, and who's better and all that good stuff, who's offering more. Another tactic that folks will sometimes use is they'll offer what I call useless perks, such as I know there's some companies in our area that will offer a tune-up, free tune-ups for the first year. So, you know, they'll install the system, and then within that first year, they'll come back out and do a free tune-up and so on. My personal belief, again, there's other thoughts and opinions out there, but my personal belief is that's kind of useless. If you have a brand new system in your home, you should not need a tune-up within the first year. So I think it's a goofy perk or sales tactic that a lot of folks use. We don't do that at Griffin Air. We tell folks that they should join our maintenance program, but we don't offer free perks when it comes to certain things like that. Now, we do offer some things. We offer extended labor warranties. We offer air purification systems with certain systems if they buy. We offer surge protection with certain systems, and so on. So, you know, it's not necessarily, you know, perks are a bad thing. You know, they're offering above and beyond what you're purchasing. But I do think that certain perks are kind of goofy, kind of useless, and I'm just letting you know to watch out for that. Another tactic is companies will come in and tell you why their company is so great or why their selling is so great, but they'll also bash other companies. And I'll be honest with you, I've kind of been guilty of that over my career. If somebody says, oh yeah, I'm shopping with this company or that company, and I'll say, well, look, you know, that company sells this brand typically, and ours is better because of this or that. So I don't necessarily think it's 100% a bad thing. I'm sure it puts a bad taste in some people's mouths, but I just want you to be aware of it. We try to tread lightly with that. I have a pretty good relationship with a lot of our competitors, and whether that's good or bad, it doesn't really matter, I'm sure. When you have somebody come in and that's, you know, again, that sleazy sort of, you know, they're just looking to say things to try to tell you why somebody's bad or whatever. It's just sometimes just a sales tactic. Another thing that we're taught in some of these classes are to overcome objections, is what they'll call it. So in other words, if you as the homeowner say, well, you know, I don't really want to purchase that, maybe it's too much money, maybe it's too much this or that, they're taught how to overcome your objection. Again, this is one of those things when I see people in other industries do it, it irritates me because, you know, I'm trying to be genuine with people. I'll even get telemarketers call me and I'll try to be nice. I'll try to say, look, you know, what you're selling, I'm sure it's great, but I'm just not really interested. You know, maybe I don't have the money. And they'll say, well, you know, you're going to buy for the price of a cup of coffee. I seem to hear that all the time in certain industries. For the price of a cup of coffee, you can have this or that. And so would you rather have that coffee or would you rather have what I'm trying to sell you, right? You know, it's just certain goofy overcoming of objections. Again, the way we do it personally at our company is we send them a proposal. We'll outline certain things that make sense, and it's up to you whether or not it makes sense for you. So I'm not trying to overcome anything you have to say. If you don't choose us, then, you know, you probably have a reason for that. Another thing that we have been taught in certain marketing classes and sales classes recently, you know, when I first started out, I don't think this was a thing, but as time has gone on, there are certain what they call certain keywords that we use in our industry, and they have done trials with customers to decide what keywords or trigger words help. Words like, they'll say, we provide comfort in your home. And I think that's fine. I'm just letting you know, as the customer, there are certain keywords that you'll notice that certain companies seem to use a lot, and they're not really saying exactly what they're offering. They're just using keywords. They're saying, hey, we're offering comfort, or we're offering, clean air for your family. They'll drop the family thing in there. Just certain keywords, again, that we're taught to, hey, use this word or that word. You don't say, hey, I'll give you a new Wi-Fi thermostat. We'll say, hey, we're going to give you more connectivity or something, smart home or whatever. Again, honestly, I don't know that that's necessarily a bad thing, especially if somebody's trying to explain to you why you should go with them. But again, I just want you to be aware of it. Another one that I hear a lot, and I haven't necessarily been taught this necessarily in a class, but I've seen a lot of folks use it, and I kind of just touched on it with some of those keywords, and that is a lot of folks will, what I call, pull on your heartstrings. And so they'll do certain things to try to get you to have an emotional response. So they may talk about your kids. You want your kids breathing clean air, don't you? I've heard that before. Or, they may pull on your heartstrings in another way. I know certain companies will do certain things to try to pull on your heartstrings and try to get you to feel good about them in that way. And again, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. We have certain causes we support at Griffin Air as well, certain charitable donations and things like that, certain things that we like to support and take care of. But I think it's interesting how flashy and things like that, where people are, again, they're just trying to pull on your heartstrings, not necessarily a bad thing. If you have something near and dear to your heart and they support that, obviously that's a good thing. But I just want you to be aware of it, that certain companies just use it as sales tactics. Another thing, and I'm sure you've seen this in lots of industries, I know in our particular industry, there's been YouTube videos, you should check them out if you haven't seen them, where news channels have set up in a home and they've baited in heating and air companies and making sure that they're honest and things like that. And ultimately, there are companies that will just simply lie to you. I would recommend getting a second opinion. So if someone comes in and says, hey, your compressor's bad, it's time to buy a new system. Here, we got this deal going. Buy this system from me right now. Close that sale, right? There may not even be actually anything wrong with that compressor. I hate to say it, but that is true. At Griffin Air, we provide free second opinions. We're not the only one. I've heard other companies offer that as well, but it's only because there are companies out there, they're just trying to sell you a heating and air system, and they'll lie to you and tell you that it's going to be a significant repair just to try to sell you that. The last thing we've seen as far as sales tactics from certain companies is we've seen some weird marketing tactics that I just think that you should be aware of. What do I mean by weird marketing? I just think that some of the tactics that we're seeing from some of the companies these days, and I'm not talking about anybody specifically, but I've been approached with certain marketing ideas. Have you seen like cookies on the internet? So like if you go to one website and then you go to another website, that will translate over. So if you, in other words, come to our website and look at a heat pump, but then you go back to say Amazon, and all of a sudden my face pops up on the side of the website. I think some of that stuff's just a little weird, to be honest with you. I also think it's a little weird how certain companies are starting to get in the game and become middlemen. So, we've always seen these companies that generate leads for us, and basically they'll come and they'll advertise on the internet or certain other places. I've seen TV ads for certain companies, and they'll say, come to our website and we'll pair you with 3 heating and air contractors or things like that. And that's just a little weird to me too, because those companies have no vested interest in necessarily who you pick. They have no interest in whether or not you necessarily have a good experience or not. They're just basically out there selling leads and trying to become the middleman. And we're even seeing some companies like Google get into that game, and Amazon. So like, Amazon has their home Echo type products, and now Google has their home services tab or whatever. I just think it's a little weird. I think that a few years ago, it was kind of cool that you could go on the internet and look up reviews and see who's good and bad and things like that. Another one is Yelp has where a company like mine can purchase a package and my company will pop up. If you go to another company's page and read their reviews, my company will pop up in there, things like that. I just think that's all just kind of weird, to be honest with you. Good or bad, I mean, you may not have a problem with it, but I'm just letting you know. Again, I'm probably stepping on toes. I'll probably have another troll getting upset that I'm telling you this stuff, but I just think that, again, it's important for you to know that some of this stuff is just sales tactics. It's just them trying to, you know, make a living and make money, and some of it's just tactics, right? The last thing I'll say is if you are about to purchase a new heating and air system, just understand, have some patience. A good decision today will still be a good decision tomorrow. So sleep on it. Get a few quotes. Thanks for watching. The last thing I'll say is if you're in the market for a new heating and air system and you're in Virginia in the Middle Peninsula or the Northern Neck, give Griffin Air a call. We'll give you a free estimate and the best warranty in the area. But if you're not in our coverage area, check out my new website. I've even got a little banner up here, newhvacguide.com. Check out that site because we've put so much information on there. It's as if I wrote a book telling folks, hey, here's the good and the bad. Avoid this or that. I've even got a whole page called no-nos, things to stay away from. And so before you spend thousands, check out that website. And finally, for more tips and tricks in the heating and air industry, click that subscribe button. Thanks for watching.